Okay, hello everyone. Once again, Dave Rubenstein here from SD Times, and this is the latest in our micro webinar series with the value stream management solution provider ConnectALL. With me is Lance Knight, of course, the CTO. How you doing, Lance?
Great, Dave. I'm the COO, not CTO.
I get it wrong every time.
I don't want anybody to ask me a technical question, so that's why I didn't roll with it, right?
Yeah, I only have a big note right here on my desk that says COO, but I didn't look at it. So there you go.
It might help me later if I apply for a CTO job somewhere down the road, right? Oh, Dave says I was one.
I get it. Well, that's right. Exactly. Anyway, so thanks for joining us, folks. And today's topic is we're going to be looking at how you can use value stream management to eliminate that non-value added work and get your costs under control. I know that's a big topic these days, especially people who are doing cloud computing and worrying about spiraling costs and how they can kind of get a handle on all that. So, Lance, let me just ask you about your approach to looking at how you can reduce those costs.
There's costs hidden in every part of your value stream. And when times are a little different, you don't look at those costs in the same way. And so really, it falls back to the fundamentals of three things, which is system thinking, lean principles, and using those to identify waste and identify non-value added activities and remove those. And so you're just using those simple principles. And I actually have a PowerPoint on a little of this prepared. So, how do I find the cost? How do I use value stream management to do it, right? Mm-hmm. And really, value stream management is a little bit about that, being more efficient and so on. So now as we move into understanding that, you really want to be more efficient. And how do you find the areas where you're not? Mm-hmm. Because everybody's going to say, we're very efficient. And you can use these principles to do that. But first, I got to remind everybody in IT, what happens is you don't know where your value stream is. You don't see that cost racking up a lot of times. So, for example, in manufacturing, you know that you're racking up costs because you have an inventory of parts and you're building things and that's happening and your costs are going up. And that's a lot about just-in-time delivery and all that. But in cloud computing, you don't see it being consumed until somebody says, why is this so expensive? What happened? Well, developers aren't turning off their systems, right? Well, that's all part of the value stream, right? And it's so easy to bring up systems and do all that. So if you can't measure it, see it, you really can't manage it. Mm-hmm. So that's where value stream principles kind of come into place, right? That's where it kind of makes sense where I can use these principles to do stuff. So identify waste and find issues. It's really still these 8 steps, which we put on every webinar, right? Identify a critical business process, which could be bringing up cloud computing. I know you wanted to touch on that. Commit to mapping the value stream, commit to lean, and execute against it. And look where you can remove that waste in methods or processes. In these principles, which is system thinking, lean, so on, there's more tools I can use to help me do that. For example, all the value stream metrics. What is my flow like? How many systems are there? Get feedback loops from your cloud stuff to actually say how many systems you're at. So you can look at it real time and make sure. Bring it from out of the value stream into it, depending upon where you're using those. Mm-hmm. So it's really about, mapping that value stream first, right? And you've seen this picture with me, I don't know how many times. And this is a value stream. And inside this value stream, there are other areas. And these value streams actually connect together with artifacts that flow. Some of those are requests to bring up systems and so on. So take a look at the request process. How are you gauging which ones get top priority and how much memory things get and what to do? That's all part of trying to understand how your system works and the processes work.
Right.
So you're just identifying the flow. And what you're talking about here is more in the operational flow of things that happen. And these systems are sometimes so automated that things just go up. And then you're looking at that going, where'd that bill come from? Mm-hmm. I know we at ConnectALL, what's really interesting when you talk about that is we're a systems integrator. So we have all kinds of tools that we bring up all the time to run our what I call our automation factory against to see if our API stuff is working. So connect the tools, bring it back, map your value stream. And when you're looking at your request process and how you go to bringing one up, you then see areas of time and waste and so on, where there's time in each one of these. For example, from intake to approve is 10 days. Can I shorten that? Right. And then can I even dig further in? Like if I go down to the development flow and into the operations flow, can I remove these different times and make it more effective? That way, as we're moving through this, that system's not up as long.
Right.
To tie it to that. So, I'm starting to look at different areas in that cell. But you actually have to, my point of view is in each one of these things, you actually need to go a step even further in. And that's where I talk about SIPOCs. And you've heard me talk about those too. So as things move between those stages, there's method and processes that happen. And you can identify whether those are value added or non-value added, and then either automate them and remove them. All of these things save money and reduce cost to taking software to the market. So if I'm following these principles and using them, you're able to identify this and remove costs and remove waste. And, these are old things that we did in manufacturing, do the same stuff. And SIPOCs are great tools to understand more detailed what's going on against what you need to do.
That's great. So
this. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I was talking to somebody from the FinOps Foundation, which is part of the Cloud Native Computing Foundation. And they were saying that, spinning up cloud instances and not turning them off is really kind of the low-hanging fruit. But they look at it more of a process of communication where, the dev team has to let the business team know what they're doing, and the architects have to say, okay, this is what we need and this is how we're going to build it. And it's only through that kind of process of communication that you can really make a big impact in keeping your costs down. And I think that plays beautifully into value stream management, just to map that process and who's responsible and who's overseeing it and who's in control, and being able to wipe that stuff out.
And then you can look at and implement automation tools that reduce even more of that waste of how you're communicating, right? And you can get information back from your cloud native solutions so that you can understand of how long they've been up, right? So it's all about understand. So you're absolutely right. And some of the stuff that we talk about is value added and non-value added, and removing that. Maybe that developer doesn't need a system, but we're used to, not bringing one down and up. So I could absolutely see where value stream management will work for that. So my last slide is about understanding what type of waste you're trying to remove. And right there, that would be over processing or transportation waste as you're bringing these things up and down. And even in regular, just normal software development delivery, when you start to communicate with these things in mind, people start to understand what you're trying to accomplish, and don't be as defensive when you're saying, that's kind of for you to take this ticket from this system and put it over there. We're wasting things. Another big thing is not getting amplified feedback loops from, tools that are monitoring things in production and having wait and time to repair issues, security, all of that. Those are huge expenses. And you can solve that and reduce costs by reducing risk and being more effective there as well. So there's all different ways when you look at the software delivery value stream where there is cost that can be removed. All I'm saying is use lean principles, systems thinking, and value stream management to help guide the way of doing that. That was my last slide, by the way. I know we're already out of time, aren't we?
We are, but I did want to ask you about the defect on that slide. Was that a broken martini glass?
Because so.
That's horrible.
So. But that's what they do. That's the one. It wasn't a broken. Well, it could be. Maybe it's just shrimp cocktail glass.
I prefer the martini.
Okay.
But there you go. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Lance Knight again, COO of ConnectALL. Thanks for doing another one of these micro webinars with us. And,
I'd love to get some feedback whether people are getting value out of these and using them, because we really enjoy doing them with you, Dave, and we plan on continuing. But anyway, some way we'll have to figure out if people are getting value out of the content we're bringing.
Well, folks, if you want to drop me an email, drubenstein@d2emerge.com, let me know how you're enjoying these events. I'll share them with Lance, and perhaps we can even shape the next couple of discussions based on things you want to hear about as well.
Absolutely.
All right. Yeah. So
Thanks,
until
guys.
next time, once again, I'm Dave Rubenstein, editor-in-chief of SD Times. So long for now. Thanks, Lance.